Nazim Sadykhov is slowly becoming that guy at 155 that you just can't afford to miss. This guy puts on either a dynamite KO or just a crazy scrap that are competitive. I mean, not a loss in the UFC yet, but definitely some competitive barn burners in here. And he's coming off UFC Baku, which you may or may not have tuned in for, but it was an interesting fight night, to say the least. I mean, look at all these decisions. Something just didn't go right in matchmaking. As you can see, his fight against Nicholas MOTTA, it was so good, they took home both the performance bonuses. Fight of the night, performance of the night, making sure both of them get paid. And I'd really just like to highlight Nazim Sadykhov because real ones have been following this guy since the jump and have kind of seen his career play out. There's kind of a spell of inactivity in there that pisses me off. I wish this guy could fight every other weekend, but here we are. But let's get into it. He's a super fun striker, great boxing, really cool boxing defense. He leaves every fight almost unscathed, with good shoulder rolling, good pocket boxing. I love to see it. I do spot a couple weaknesses, and he had a patch of inactivity that doesn't sit right with me, but yeah, always in a scrap. Nazim Sadykhov, it's going to change throughout this video. The Black Wolf stands 5'10", lightweight at 155, a reach of 69 inches. And they have him listed as southpaw, but he switches all over the place. Born in 94. Career stats are showing a lot of fives. High strike rate, even higher absorb rate. He just can't help himself but get into brawls. He loves to punch, loves to swing and bang. He loves to swing and bang smart. I would call him a technical brawler for sure, with some very sneaky kickboxing tactics. Great kicker, great clinch, but definitely likes to throw them hands. The takedown defense is holding up nicely, and he will shoot himself. He comes from Longo Weidman MMA, Sarah Longo, those guys. But he is head coached by John Wood. John Wood head coaches a lot of prospects, fighters, but he originally has come out of the Longo camp. So yeah, we'll just dig into the career here. Not much of a career yet. He's been in the UFC for a couple of years, but like I said, stretch of inactivity. But the fights he's given us have all been bangers, absolute bangers. We'll check out his Dana White Contender Series fight against this piece of garbage. I'm not going to go into it. This HASSANZADA guy, you can just Google him, look him up. He's a creep. And Nazim Sadykhov put a beautiful beating on him. This guy couldn't stand with him, even having like a crazy height and reach advantage. Sadykhov just put the pace on him, just ripped him apart with punches. Banked good control time with a good reversal here. Showed this guy who the better wrestler is round one. Then as the fight goes on, stuffs the takedowns, rips him up. Volume's a little low, but good strike accuracy. You'll see this is a theme with him. Picks his shots well, defends shots well. What sticks out with Nazim is honestly his defense. He gets into these crazy scraps and never a scratch on him at the end. It's quite impressive. But yeah, just beats up this creep and enters his ticket into the UFC. KO in the third round. Really nasty KO in the third round. I think you can find the Contender Series on the UFC's YouTube page. You can find that somewhere. Next up in the Apex, gets matched up against another newcomer, Evan Elder, who is a prospect. He's a good prospect. Super physical, great cardio. I think Evan Elder's a kill cliff guy or a elevation guy. So tough test. Nazim comes in here and it's a very, very competitive fight. Evan Elder with a lot of volume, very athletic, good gas tank, and does drop Sadykhov in that first round, but gets his takedown stuffed. Round two comes around. It's slightly more competitive. Sadykhov pulling ahead with some accuracy, landing his takedown that he shoots for. Low control time. Evan Elder still shooting every round. But in round 3 here, Nazim Sadykhov throws a high kick and the knee clips Evan Elder in the face as he blitzes in, and it actually has to be called off due to doctor stoppage because, well, he gave Evan Elder a new eyebrow. So yeah, kind of a bittersweet ending, as it was a really good fight and it was sort of heating up. Every round was close, so these are not the fights you want to see have something like that happen. It's MMA, there's damage, but yeah. And it's sort of like, yeah, it just sucks to see. And yeah, bad TKO loss for Evan Elder. Not really fair, but yet again, got caught with some damage. It is what it is. If we look at the targeting here of Elder, a lot of body kicks. Whereas Sadykhov getting a lot more work done with the boxing. Judges, the MMA judges just like boxing. They like punches. So probably a decision that was headed in Sadykhov's favor. Evan Elder doing a lot of good work, but really just with kicking. And yeah, unfortunate ending. Evan Elder's going to grow from it, and good win from Nazim. Then he takes on Terrence McKinney, who's a notorious fast starter. Ultra threat in round 1, but not much else. And Nazim was able to not get finished, but was manhandled in this first round. 4 minutes, 16 seconds of control time for T-Rex, though not a lot of punishment. With Terrence McKinney, it's either force the knockout in round 1 or force the wrestling. And he chose to force the wrestling here with Nazim, which was probably the smartest game plan that he had, because Sadykhov is very, very technical on the feet. And Terrence McKinney has been knocked out brutally in the past by Sean Woodson, by BONFIM. So went with the wrestling and got caught in a sub, which he probably wasn't expecting. Sadykhov, not a big sub guy, more of a striker, but got him out of there with a submission, a rear naked choke. Here's kind of an odd angle of it, but yeah, no takedowns really. They just ended up on the ground from scrambling, and Sadykhov knows what he's doing. Back mount, rear naked choke, easy win. Then we get into Nazim's first pay-per-view appearance against Vyacheslav Borshev, Slava Claus. And this was just beautiful destruction, ending in a draw due to some crazy circumstances, so I'll break that down. Basically, Borshev honestly gets going right out the gate, has an awesome fast start, doubles up Sadykhov on significant strikes, lots of low kicking. I mean, look at this accuracy. He kind of exploited a bit of a weakness in Sadykhov with leg kicks. Where are we here? Yeah, just a big difference in the leg kicks. I'm pretty sure most of these came in the first round, because after round 2, Borshev was heavily concussed. So yeah, great first round. Then in the second round, much of the same thing until Sadykhov just absolutely detonates Borshev with a head kick and just a barrage of punches. Gets control time as well and a takedown. Just a real mauling. So the judges went with a 10-8 scorecard here. Deservedly so. Borshev was in survival mode, hanging on by a thread, but he did, and made it to the third round, and credit to him, bounces back and replicates the success he had in the first round. The accuracy is a bit closer, a bit more brawly, but still getting more volume done. Attempts 102 significant strikes in the final round after being severely hurt, like on death's door. So probably the best performance of Borshev's career. And this was with Sadykhov getting takedowns, but low control time. Borshev wasn't letting him have it easy. So incredible fight. Go watch it if you haven't. And here are the finals, the strike totals. We see Borshev, both guys mixing it up really, but here's his success with the leg kicks. Kind of identifying that weakness in Sadykhov, really leaves his lead leg sort of hanging out there. He has sort of an interesting stance with the boxing, and BONFIM recognized this as well, that you need to go to the guy's lead leg. And Borshev, elite striker. I mean, not much else, but very savvy, high striking IQ from Borshev, and just hacks away at that leg, banks himself an early lead, but then fight starts to fall apart, and Sadykhov banks a 10-8 round, and you know what? Probably coasted a bit too much, and probably could have pushed a bit harder in this third round, because he let it slip away. So 2 rounds to BORSHCHEV and a 10-8 for Sadykhov leads to a draw. And even after the fight's over, these two are still having a blast. They're fine with the draw. They made fight of the night money. They do a little dance-off for the crowd. Honestly, no idea why he chose to do this layoff. It could have been just healing from injuries that he didn't speak on publicly, but I can't really find anything why he took this time off, because it is coming close on like the deadline of like, hey man, you need a fight. But anyway, gets in the cage with Ismail BONFIM, sort of an older prospect, one of the BONFIM brothers, the lightweight. He has quite a lengthy career, did a lot of good work in Jungle Fight, capturing a title there, is sort of in with the Sharks now in the UFC, and looked to be beating Sadykhov in this first round. The fight only went 1 round. BONFIM's a really fast twitch guy, and that seemed to really throw off Sadykhov. I don't know if he was waiting to maybe pick it up in the later rounds. That's not really his style, though. So BONFIM dictating the range here with blitzes, and Sadykhov just kind of shelling in retreat, finding shots where he can, little openings where he can. But a clear BONFIM round. So easy 10-9 round headed BONFIM's direction until Nazim Sadykhov pulls out a question mark kick, executed to perfection, and causes heavy damage on BONFIM. I don't know if there's a broken orbital involved. He recoils back and just can't recover. He makes it to the final bell of the first round, but after a doctor comes in, he's complaining about blurry vision, and ultimately the fight gets stopped. It's quite strange because the cut's under his eye, but he's clearly blinking it out and just needs more time, and the doctor calls off the fight. So a bit of a clouded performance here, but it's a beautiful kick. It was a beautifully executed move, and it swung the round back in Nazim's favor, so I can't hate the performance. But there was some early adversity. BONFIM was doing well, but just completely got bamboozled by this kick and lost because of it. A great win from Sadykhov. That leads us to Sadykhov's most recent win. That was last weekend against Nicholas MOTTA. This fight had striking blood and guts battle all over it. Nicholas MOTTA, all he knows is war. Nicholas MOTTA lives by the KO, dies by the KO. And Nazim just can't help himself but get into just brawl it out scraps. So the real fans out there, we knew a banger was coming. Although we didn't know it would be like fight of the year contender. Just a nice brawl, a fight that's going to make a lot of clips online with funk music, beautiful stuff. Nazim ended up bouncing back from some crazy adversity in the first round and chinned Nicholas MOTTA. It was excellent. And so if we look at the stats here, I believe these are incorrect. I believe Nicholas MOTTA landed many more strikes than just 36. He had a barrage that lasted nearly a minute long, and yes, Sadykhov did a lot of good rolling and deflection, but he landed more than 36 in that first round. I mean, I guess we just need to watch it again. But what MOTTA did here was just effectively punch himself out. It looks cool. The crowd's going to get behind him. And he did score a knockdown. It was an interesting knockdown. Sadykhov just sort of wilted to the body work and went down. And so Nicholas MOTTA easily wins that first round, despite these close-looking strike numbers. And then in the second round, Sadykhov just has the performance of his life. I mean, some of the combinations he threw were so creative. Kicks, knees, elbows. He just brought out everything here for his sort of homecoming fight after some early adversity, and that's a star-making performance right there. He deserves a big step up. No more top 20 Nicholas MOTTA type fights. No Trey Ogdens, no Thiago Moiseses. He gets a top 10 fight. I think he's called out Benoit Saint-Denis, but he's booked. But yeah, so stellar stuff. It was awesome. And these two won both of the performance bonuses, and for good reason. This card was pretty lackluster. Started off fat and slow with heavyweights and a questionable robbery with Ulanbekov Maxim, some ladies fights, and then some more decisions that are low volume. And then this comes out of nowhere and just steals the show. So couldn't be happier with it. Both guys get paid. Love to see that. Future opponents for Nazim Sadykhov. I'm happy with really anything. I'm happy with layups like Bobby Green, or, stiff grappling tests like Grant Dawson, Sadykhov Chandler, except Chandler would never take it. It's tough. It's tough. A lot of the lightweight guys are booked right now, but I'm a fan of Nazim, man. I want to see him starch more people. I want to see him style on more people. It's just, where do we think his ceiling is? Because a couple of these have been close. The Evan Elder one was competitive. He was hurt early by Terrence McKinney. Didn't put the finishing touches on BORSHCHEV. Lost the first round, but won it with damage against BONFIM. And now this, again, getting hurt by MOTTA early, but then just styling on him. So he could just be one of these like boxing slow start guys. But Nazim Sadykhov, what are you guys thinking? I'm a fan of Nazim. He's just one of these guys that can't help but get into scraps. The future is bright for him. He's a young guy, so keep an eye on him. Pretty much every fight is either a performance bonus headed his way or a competitive scrap on the feet. So that's it for the video. Until next time, guys.